Today, we're going to talk about different childcare options because there are lots of options when you are ready to go back to work or just really need a break. We're going to talk through either you taking care of your child, being a stay-at-home mom. And just because you're a stay-at-home mom doesn't mean you don't have a business on the side. You could have family watching your kids if that's something you were ready for. There are nannies, there's daycare, that's like a daycare center. And there's also in-home daycare or micro centers, which we can talk about. So there are 5 different options for childcare. Looks so funny with my screen that we're going to talk about. So the first one we're going to talk about is if you want to stay home with your child. I always thought I would be that stay-at-home mom, would spend all my time with my kids until they were ready to go to school. That means you have a lot of patience. You have a schedule in mind and some kind of activities for your kids that you're doing yourself. You enjoy watching kids all day. And if you don't enjoy watching kids like I didn't, that's okay too. And it's coming to terms with knowing that it's safer, it might be better for your child to have them go somewhere else. Also, if you decide to be staying at home with your children, thinking about the lack of salary you might be bringing in. So is that, what your family is ready to do at this time? Are you okay with not feeling in the workforce or something like that and seeing all your friends continuing to work? Is your mental health ready for that as well? Those are all the things you need to consider. Or frankly, if you have more than one kid or depending on your salary, it may not make sense for you to work if you're making $65,000 and your childcare costs $55,000. By the time you take out all the taxes and everything, it costs you more to have childcare than you actually working. So those are just things that you can consider if you decide to stay at home or you want to stay home, or it's a choice for you to stay at home. No choice is the right or wrong choice. They're all just different. And I wish I could say which one's better. I think it all just depends on the person. Like I said, I couldn't stay home with my kids as much as I love them, but I don't have the mental know-how, patience, capacity, skill set. I needed to use my brain in a different way. I just couldn't do it. And I felt like a failure at first, but it is what it is. And my kids are happier, healthier with someone else. The second option is having, whether it's a friend or family member watching your kid, if that is an option for you. One thing to consider is if you trust that family member, will they, watch your kid in a way where you feel comfortable, where you feel like they're safe, where you feel it's how that relationship is. Is it just, are you paying them? Are you not paying them? Is it give, receive? Like, how does that really look? So I think that is just something for, again, you to feel comfortable. Do you want your parents around all the time, or a friend or family member watching your child? Those are just, again, different options for you. I personally didn't trust my family to watch kids and raise them the way I wanted, or know that they were safe or anything like that. And that's my choice. But other people may have a great relationship and love their parents watching them, or the cost of it is just a no-brainer at the end of the day, since you won't be paying for anything, having a friend or family member watch your child. It all, again, goes back to you. Or another thing I've seen a lot of parents do through Childcare, Hello Bully, Graphany are a few sites that come to mind, is there are stay-at-home moms that love watching children that can pick up watching your kids, again, for some kind of bartering or kind of fee, just to kind of ease that tension for parents that may go back to work or need breaks. All right, so we've talked about you watching your child, your family watching your child. The third option is a daycare watching your child. An actual licensed physical daycare, whether it's like a Bright Horizons or a childcare center of sorts, watching your child. The benefits is they're open during the set hours that they're open, right? From 8 to 6 that you can drop your child off. There are drop-off times, there are rules, there are processes, there are multiple kids in there, whatever the state capacity is. And that's something that maybe your child would like, being around all those kids. You like the structure, you like the consistency, you like knowing it's a center, you like knowing it's a structure. They sometimes also have cool apps like Bright Roll, where they take pictures and send it to you of your child and give you updates about your child's bowel movements and naps and everything like that. Those are all really great options. Those, though, you probably may cost a little more. They also may come with needing to sign up ahead of time. I've heard some daycare wait lists are up to 9, 12 months, depending. So pee on the stick and sign up. And also knowing, again, the structure for you, knowing you have to drop them off at set times, knowing there's no flexibility, knowing, they're teachers who they pick, not who you choose. And if you're running late, like they're still going to close at 5 o'clock. There's no, hey, can you stay a little later? That would be really tough too. So that is another option, is actual daycare center. And then we have 2 more, the nannies, and we have the in-home daycare. So an in-home daycare, I actually have my daughter at an in-home daycare. Some of them are trying to rebrand as micro centers. So an in-home daycare is at someone's house. So they may live in a portion of it with a partner, other family members, and then a section of their house is actually a licensed daycare. Those tend to be smaller class sizes because it's in someone's house. They tend to have, maybe meals made by the family. So it's not like a food service or something like that at a daycare. They also have the same structured hours, this time to that time, but it's at their house. So there's a little bit more, I guess they live there. So it's a little more flexibility. I felt like it gave my daughter and my son, who went there too, a little bit more love, because it's someone's house, their home, their family's there, their yard. They really love the space that they're watching your child in. The cost is a little lower because it is an in-home daycare. But there are some in-home daycares actually that I've seen with like a company like Tiny Care, where they actually will buy a provider's house that they can live in and create that space into a daycare. So imagine a preschool teacher would have her house covered, and then they would do a daycare for her, do all the logistics and everything like that. So you just have to sign up as if it were a daycare. So that provides a lot of relief, helps the cost, because teachers are not paid very well here. Childcare providers, it's really sad, even though it's really expensive to us as parents, but there's something lost along the way. But that's just another option, is an in-home daycare micro center for your child. The last option, which is what a lot of people do in the beginning if they don't get into a daycare right away, or they just are starting out going back to work, or they know they might want weekends or late nights, or that flexibility and personalization, or fingers crossed, maybe they'll do some laundry or cooking for you as like a bonus, is having a nanny. And also driving your kids too is a big thing, right? Like if you can't get your kid to a daycare drop off, or can't get your kid to an in-home daycare drop off, having that nanny might be able to drive your kids places. Your nanny might be willing, if it's raining, to do grocery shopping for you because she's looking for activities. She might be making dinner and cooking for the kids anyways and make something for you. So then there's the nanny option, where you would have like a contract with the person directly. They might have different certifications. It could be CPR, it might be a language, it could be experience background. Lots of people are always, growing out of their nannies and giving them, bringing them to new homes. So that's always a great option. There are a lot more opportunities, I guess, to find nannies than daycares, which is a little harder. And so that's just another really great option, is having a nanny. Those you might even be able to do a share with another family. So you can say, okay, family X that lives nearby, we can both have this nanny come in at my house, or it could be at their house. If you want it at your house because you just feel more comfortable there, great. I liked it at someone else's house, so I didn't have my living room into a daycare, or needing to clean up all the time. So just is an option what's best for you. I liked doing a nanny when I first went back to work. Just my kid was smaller. I wanted that love. I wanted them kind of home a little bit, just because at daycares, there are a lot more kids, so a lot more germs, older kids. So they might get sick more often, versus with a nanny at first, or a nanny share, it's a little bit more controlled. So there is that nanny share option as well in the nanny, which is really great. But sometimes it might be straight out of pocket, right? Because they might want cash, which makes it hard from like a tax standpoint. You're probably providing the food, so it's not covered. So you're thinking about what food to give them all the time. And if you think about it, you're dealing with a person directly. So that nanny, if she's sick that day, or if she has a personal matter, or she has a cold, whatever it could be, you now don't have a daycare, you don't have a childcare option at that point. So it's very personal. So for me, we had a nanny, she was great, but her son, was always homesick, or she always had to take him here, or she had her life, understandably, and needed that flexibility. And it was really hard when I needed that structure. And so at a certain point, it made sense for us to go to a daycare because I knew it would always be open. I knew it would be more consistent, which made it a lot easier for our family. So we talked through a lot of options. So again, you can watch your child and not work, or have and still work and do it, either try and do both, which is really hard. Do a side hustle, where I know some stay-at-home moms, really big shout out to Crunchy Mama. She makes her candles at night and watches her daughter during the day. You could be have a family member watch your child, like a grandparent that might be retired, or aunt or uncle who you trust and feel good about, because if there's always issues and drama, that's not fun for everyone. It's very stressful. Second option is a daycare, getting into the daycare, paying for that daycare constant. The cost of it is a little higher typically. Just getting, knowing there's certain times you can't have it stay late. It's only the certain times it's open. The in-home daycare micro centers, having it at someone's house, knowing there are smaller class sizes, a little less structure, but still really safe, kind of like the daycare consistently open, but it's in someone's house if you're comfortable with that. And then the nanny share, or nanny for yourself, or nanny share. I guess even with nannies, I could have talked about is if you have an actual nanny, or who just comes during the day and goes home at night, or there's even au pairs. So I think if you have like 2 kids plus, it might make sense to have, and you have the space for someone to live, you could have someone actually live with you from another country. But again, once you do that, you're thinking of they're living with you. Is that something you're comfortable with? Is there enough space in your house? How do you, making sure you feel comfortable with the time that they're actually working while living with you, having a car for them, food for them. It's just a very different structure. And if that's what you're happy with, and who is this person living in your house too? Excuse me. So I think there are lots of different options that you can do for childcare. Again, none are right, none are wrong. It all just comes down to you. Always happy to talk through it with anyone that has questions. I've been there myself. I remember just crying on the floor thinking, okay, what do I do? Which one makes sense? Where do I find a nanny? How do I find a nanny share? How do I know what cost of a nanny? How do I know the pricing? Is this a good price, a bad price? Same with daycares too. How do I get in? Which one do I choose? Always, you can use Sprinkles parents to ask around. You can reach out to myself, another Sprinkles parent mom. She's going to be providing daycare options for people. I'm going to be bringing her on soon we can do a webinar or talk about something together. But again, at the end of the day, there's no wrong answers. Our kids are going to survive. We're so lucky to be here and have that as our biggest concern, is our childcare options versus, in Ukraine. I'm going to be looking into what we can do as Sprinkles parents for Ukraine, see if there's somewhere we could donate to a family cause or something like that, to help those parents in Ukraine thrive. As many of you know, my mission, and I didn't introduce myself. I'm Brooke Shapiro. I'm the mom machine behind Sprinkles Parents. My life mission is to help parents thrive. I don't want any parents to struggle like I have. I want to help them however they can thrive, in whether they're careers or they're at home, just really thrive as parents and all aspects of that. And so that if we're all thriving as parents and not stressed or anxious, then our kids are going to thrive. They'll feel more confident. They'll feel more comfortable. They'll make a better world too, if we're all diverse and we're all working together and helping raise our children. So anyways, thanks for joining. Hopefully this is helpful for you. And I hope to see you guys next week at Rose's Tap Room. We're going to have beers, books, and babies. So bring a book. We're going to swap some books. We're going to have Mr. Lamata, who's a story reader and a teacher at Oakland. And it'll be at Rose's Tap Room in the Parklet. So it's going to be a really nice, controlled, fun event for the afternoon, Saturday, March 19th, if you're around. And then 2 weeks from that, we're going to have Balabusta providing us easy weeknight meals. So I don't know about you, but I never know what to cook, or I spend too much time cooking, or I meal prep and then I'm sick of all the food I prepped, and it's always really hard. So want to help parents. So I'm bringing an expert to teach you how to make some easy weeknight meals that your toddler hopefully will like. My toddler only eats bagels and cream cheese, but the hope is to have them enjoy. So thanks for those that watched. Please share, like, comment. Trying to build Sprinkles community to help all parents thrive. All right, thanks. Have a good one. Bye.